It's going.
Hello, everybody. Reports and rumors of my demise were greatly exaggerated. This is Joseph Dycus of the Bay Area News Group. I'm joined now by Jane Kenny of the San Francisco Standard and Conrado Pascaul of the Center Hub. Let's get right into it. The Valkyries beat Toronto today, but the big news is what's up with Gabby Williams? Jane, you were able to talk with Natalie. What did she have to say about Gabby's injury?
Yeah, so we saw Gabby Williams go down with what looked like a back injury. The injury report later said it was a back contusion and she wouldn't return to the game. Post game, Natalie Nakase said that she hadn't spoken to Gabby really or the medical staff yet, but said that Gabby was in good spirits, as she's known to always say about kind of injuries that we're questioning. She says, I saw them smiling, so that, is as much as I know. So we really don't know what's going to become of Gabby's injury, if it's, going to keep her out for a couple games, if it's, just a cautionary situation. It didn't look great. It looked like she really had a tough landing there, and obviously didn't come back to the game. So we'll kind of remains to be seen. They play again on Friday, so it's a quick turnaround, and maybe that's a situation where they could use her a little bit less against Connecticut, which would be crucial if she is available.
Yeah, Conrad, I was wondering, what did you see on the play in terms of what did she do to injure herself?
Yeah, I mean the play itself, there was no pun intended. There's no foul play. There's nothing malicious. I mean, she basically was trying to go up for a rebound. Maria Conde though got inside position, and they both went up at the same time. So like Conde essentially kind of knocked Gabby Williams off balance, like while she was in the air. So like she just naturally had like a very awkward landing. But as Jane was saying, yeah, it looked like Gabby was in a lot of pain. She was down on the floor for a couple seconds. For what it's worth, I really appreciated Maria Conde's sportsmanship. She didn't even get back on defense. She waited to help up Gabby Williams. So, I mean, that's cool, even in a close game. But yeah, I mean, ultimately she was able to get up on her own power and walk to the bench. So, I mean, if anything, that's a little bit promising. But as Jane was saying, yeah, I mean, this Friday we have the Connecticut Sun coming up. Not trying to overlook them in any way, but it's just after Friday's game, they don't play again until next Wednesday. So if there was an opportunity or a game to maybe be conservative with Gabby's, potential injury, Friday would be a good time to maybe give her a load management day. So
Jane, what do you think the Valkyries should do with this most recent injury?
I think honestly, obviously they want Gabby to be available, and I think it would be smart to be conservative with their minutes, as they've kind of been so with her and Veronica's on the road, just given how tight of a stretch it's been. Their bench had 52 points tonight. I think they can rely on this second unit to carry them forward at least through Friday. Going on into next week, they play Indiana. I think that it's a long season. They're halfway through. We're coming up on the All-Star break in a couple weeks. So if they choose to be kind of careful with her minutes and minute restrictions internally, I wouldn't blame them in doing so. And I think they would still actually be really successful because they have great on-ball defense, perimeter defense around Gabby. It's not just her that's running the show in terms of their defensive performances recently. Obviously, she's been like an engine and a closer, as we've seen throughout this season. But I think that her long-term health would be more important as they get later into the season, wanting to have her available and not burnt out or fighting injuries and stuff like that.
If she does have to miss some time, then by the way, I agree. I would agree with both you guys that like, hey, the Connecticut game is probably the one that they can sit her for a minute. I will say, look, Connecticut's a pro team. At the same time, they're awful. They're terrible. And even if they were great, this is a game that you can sacrifice. If you lose this game, you'd rather lose a game to Connecticut than aggravate an injury to your best player. So I would definitely be in favor if I was in charge of everything. I would definitely be like, hey, let's just sit her for the Connecticut game. Um, I guess the other thing is encouraging for the Valkyries is Janelle Salaun went for 26 points. I believe that's a career high. Um, we were trying to come up with a nickname for her. We will continue to workshop that. I saw the Valkyries Twitter said Jabang, and I was like, not a fan, not a fan of that one. Um, I don't know. What have you made of Janelle? Just kind of this entire season, kind of a big picture look. She's coming off the bench. She's kind of their microwave scorer. How would you assess how she's played so far?
I mean, obviously, at this point, with Kennedy Carter having been waived by the Las Vegas Aces, I would say even when Kennedy Carter was on a roster, I think Janelle was very much in like one of the leading candidates for sixth player of the year. I think at this point she is like the clear front runner. She should be the heavy favorite. I know a lot of us, like, we had talked about it earlier in the season about whether or not she should just be starting. I think that's still a topic worth revisiting, especially when you see the starters get out to slow starts. But she's absolutely embraced it. And given the fact that there are specific situations where Natalie will have her play as basically like a small ball stretch five, it makes sense that she's coming off the bench because it allows her to be more fresh and to close out quarters. Um, I think she's gotten specifically better defensively. And I know, Joseph, you asked about her offense, but I want to cite her defense because I feel like these last couple games, not only has she really like stepped up to the challenge of guarding other front court players, and she'll have her moments where she'll have defensive lapses, but when she does get stops, you could tell it definitely fuels her. Like, she's getting out, more aggressively. Today, again, finally, like, really taking advantage of these mismatches. Like, what she concedes in size, she has a speed advantage. She was really aggressive attacking the rim today. You've seen this the last couple games where she's just not settling for the pull-up three. So, I mean, she is definitely the teams. I don't know if she's the ultimate X factor, but I mean, like, when she's hot, I mean, it's they're hard to beat.
Yeah, I would echo all of that, especially just her ability to, step up and bring the energy off the bench and then perform in clutch moments. I really felt like that. Was it Maria Conde who fouled her on the 3-point shot, and then she got the free throws? I felt like that was really the turning point in closing the fourth quarter because then from there they were able to build out that 10-point lead and like really
Yeah.
stay a little bit more comfortably in front, and then from there she hits three threes in a row, so she was really on, really energized, just kind of like charting the path for this team through, a fourth quarter where, after a third quarter where the tempo was coming back, they went on a 20-8 run to start that third quarter, really threatening there, and you didn't really know what was going to happen because we weren't seeing that consistency from Veronica Burton. Gabby was out at that point. So the fact that she was able to step up in that scenario was huge. And I agree that she's really, like, she's the X factor. She's someone I would absolutely, like, she might not start, but I would absolutely have her in every closing lineup. I think that she is really not afraid of the moment, and we know she's not afraid of any shot because some of them are crazy shots, but you know
Agreed
needed.
there. Somebody else who's not afraid of the moment is Caitlin Chen, who scored 16 points. I think at the beginning of the year, if you had told me, hey, Caitlin Chen's going to score 16 points in a game, I would have been like, okay, she's probably doing it and against the Connecticut Sun or a team like that, and like a blowout. The fact that you can ask her to come off the bench and give you buckets, there's an argument. I think, and there was somebody texted me and was like, is she like their third best scorer or their second best scorer in isolation? Which is kind of crazy in and of itself. Um, I don't know what are the I mean, at this point, it seems like we can kind of expect Caitlin Chen to be a decent offensive contributor and someone who can run the offense. I don't know. What do you guys think about Caitlin's growth this season?
I mean, Joseph, like during the game, I actually uh, referenced the quote that you picked up from Paige Beckers earlier this season, right? Where Paige says that Caitlin has one of the best layup packages she's ever seen, and I think at the time we're kind of like, okay, that's a little bit of hyperbole. But ever since then, I mean, like, she just continues to show that all the work that she's been putting in this past off season, and in training camp, it's beginning to manifest in a little bit more consistency. And yes, she takes some of the craziest shots. Those scoop shots, the reverse layups, the drive, like the running hook shots. But it works for her. Statistically, she actually is the team's most efficient isolation scorer. That sounds kind of crazy to say, but it is true. She's always had like a lot of shiftiness, a lot of lateral quickness, but I think now like the handle, and especially the way she drives, she really kind of lowers her shoulder a lot more. I think like overall, like her approach and her technique is kind of come together because for a team that really struggles to generate a lot of rim pressure, they don't have a lot of like players who are consistent threats off the dribble. I mean, I think that's all the more reason why her impact stands out so much on this team. And, not trying to start any like point guard controversy, but her play these last, pretty much in this winning streak, has kind of masked, or, Veronica Burton's, a little bit of lackluster scoring lately. I mean, again, VB has been good as a floor general, but, at the beginning of the season, if you had said Veronica's only going to take 2 shots, like, in an entire game, you'd probably pencil that in as a loss. And obviously that has not been the case these last handful of games.
Yeah, I mean, I fully.
Jane, I was gonna. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
I was just gonna honestly echo what you said. I really like with the just bringing up the point that she consistently brings the rim pressure, and I feel like no one else on this roster we really see consistently do that, other than maybe Gabby when they're running the offense through her. But her ability to just be a spark off the bench and kind of change the tactics of the offense. When they're not getting those perimeter looks, her ability to drive and then open up the perimeter, I think really changes things because they started this game with an 11-point first quarter. Like nothing was going right. They had, I guess it wasn't so many turnovers, but they weren't making their shots. And then she comes in, and then to start the second quarter was, I think it was like a 6-point run courtesy of Caitlin Chen, and that just flipped the whole script really. Like her ability to just imprint on this game and get to where she wants. Like she has these shots that are like signature Caitlin Chen shots, like her hook shot, her foot floater, and she can get it night in and night out. So I think it's really impressive to me.
Yeah, I will. Full transparency, I'm recording this episode in a hotel in Las Vegas for NBA Summer League, so my Wi-Fi is pretty bad. So I don't think it's going to be a 20-minute episode. So I'm just going to hit on some really quick points. Kayla Thornton had a very good shooting game, 15 points, 4 of 6 on the field, 3 of 4 from 3, 3 of 5 from 3, sorry. And Nadia Fingal actually got some minutes. We were all, I think, kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, Natalie
I
played
want some
11
one quick thing.
players. She played 11 players in the first quarter. Like she was really trying
Yeah.
everything. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, she didn't try everything because there is one player that didn't get any minutes in this game. We all know who that is. I don't know. Do you see this maybe being a chance if Gabby misses a game? Is this are we back on you stay watch? For what it's worth, the team's winning, so why shake things up? But if Gabby doesn't isn't able to play, you think it opens the door for her at all?
I mean, I think she has to be ready, obviously, right? And that's hence why she's part of the quote unquote stay ready group. I would, because again, right, Gabby is not, obviously she's a big focal point of the team's offense. So it would stand to reason they need someone who's capable of some offensive production. Um, if I had to guess, I don't know, this is just me guessing, if Gabby were to sit out, I would think that Kyla Charles will probably see an uptick in even more minutes, just because, again, she's always had the ability to be effective, whether she's in the starting lineup or the second unit. But, unfortunately, like, the Valks communications and PR, they started the Zoom a little bit late, so the reporters who were in attendance for Natalie's post-game press conference, they'd already started asking questions before the people on Zoom were able to join. And the only reason I say that is just because I wasn't really sure if anyone had asked why Nadia Fingal got first quarter minutes. I mean, I kind of wanted to know. Kia Stokes, Leticia Amihir, neither of them were in foul trouble. So I would assume Natalie would have said it was matchup based, but I'm curious what exactly she saw in the matchup that would necessitate having Fingal come in so early. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if it's, just what Sabali and Izzy Harrison were putting up to start that game. I think they had like 10 points in the paint early on, so maybe she was just like,
Yeah.
scrap all of this. Like, I'm, going to my 12th player here. Like, I don't like what's happening. Maybe it was something like that. I was going to bring up something else. Oh, yeah. Marina Mabrey, the fifth leading scorer in the WNBA, was held without a made field goal until like 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. And the Valkyries do something of this nature like basically every night. They take away another team, like an opponent's leading scorer. Like, that is their forte. Like, with their kind of defensive on-ball pressure. I know they wanted to get her kind of in foul trouble. You just go right at her whenever she's guarding you. But I thought it was really impressive how effective that was. A lot of her points were just on free throws. She had 11 points on the night, which is 10 less than her average. I think that was a huge part of why they were able to get it done, even when their first quarter and their third quarter were kind of choppy. But I don't know, Conrado, what did you think about kind of how they were able to contain Marina?
Yeah, I mean, again, right? It's been kind of like identity of the Valkyries all season. I know other teams have picked up on it. I mean, they can mix up their defensive coverage from possession to possession, which is pretty hard, right? I mean, like, it's one thing if you do it like you mix up the coverage when you have different lineups out there, but for them to do that and to do it so seamlessly, it's a testament, obviously, to the work they're putting in practice, their ability to communicate. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you can make an argument. It's as simple as like make anyone, like if you're Natalie, it's like have anyone beat us except Marina Mabrey, right? Kind of force, Isabel Harrison or Zuli Alaman to try to create more. But it has been really interesting. I know Nathan was talking about that in length the other day about the Valks defense being able to essentially kind of contain, if not shut down, other teams' top scoring options. I think that's why. I mean, again, from a more macro or long term look, I mean, I think this is exactly why they really feel good about where they are. I mean, again, sometimes fans may kind of roll their eyes at Natalie repeating what's now becoming a new mantra, right? Control, the controllables, control what you can control. But it's true. It's true. I mean, like, the defense really is keeping them in games, if not somehow extending leads even when they themselves aren't actually making shots,
Yeah.
So it's been really impressive, to say the least.
Yeah, I just want to jump in and say that the thing about the Valkyries is while a lot of their wins are not going to be, they're not going to be crazy blowouts or anything, the Valkyries at this point, they're going to be in every single game that they play. I mean, kind of like what Jane said, they scored 11 points in the first quarter, and
Yeah.
yet they're in the game because their defense is going to keep them in every single game, which is really, I mean, at this point, can't help but be impressed. Also, taking away the best scorer kind of feels like what Bill Belichick used to do as a coach of the Patriots. It was like your number one player, whoever that is, skill position, they're just not going to get the ball. And I think it's so interesting that the Valkyries have really turned that into their philosophy instead of, let them go off and nobody else. It's interesting, I guess, way of playing defense. But regardless, we're getting up 20 minutes, so I think we've talked about most topics we can. My favorite part of the episode that I haven't been able to do in like a month, Conrado, where can we read your stuff? And what are you working on?
Yeah, no, I mean, again, all my Valkyries and WNBA coverage, you can find that at thepodiumfinish.net. Again, not my work, my colleagues, they cover the other WNBA teams, but yeah, I'll have I'll have a piece about Yusuke Yoshite and her parents coming up probably in the next couple days. So be on the lookout for that. And then all my NBA coverage is at the Center Hub, the Center Hub _BB.
Jane, what about you? Where can we read your stuff? What have you been working on?
Yes, you guys can find my Valkyries coverage at the San Francisco Standard. I am currently working on a piece on the developmental players of the Valkyries, Amila Soa. So you can check that out later this week, and then I'll write on there. I don't think we mentioned this. This is a franchise record win streak of 6 games, so writing on that as well.
All right, and you can read me at the San Jose Mercury News East Bay Times. I've been doing a bunch of summer league stuff, but been watching a lot of the Valkyries games as well. So I've been trying to keep up with them. Nathan Canelau, Kenzo Fukuda, Marissa and Jemmy, they are all out and about on vacation and whatnot. So it's been the three of us. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this podcast. I know we're not your favorite three, but we do our best. So with that, thank you as always for watching, listening, subscribing, and commenting. We love your comments. And until next time, this has been the Valkyries Courtside Report.
And thanks for joining us, Conrado.